I'm good. Good.
What happened this morning?
Well, I look forward to being back with you tomorrow morning. This early this morning, outside of my apartment in Virginia, there was an incident unrelated to me, but shots were fired, and so I ended up having to shelter in place. But hopefully, hopefully, the officers involved will be safe. And as it happened, it was 5:45 this morning, and so we ended up having a delayed start. So I look forward to being back with you and others. Had to cancel my TV hits this morning based on that.
And it was a security incident? What does that mean?
Well, it was with Arlington Police, so it was actually an event that was unrelated to me, but with shots fired in close proximity to my apartment.
And what can you tell us about the event for Judge Barrett tonight here at the White House?
You know, we're excited and very hopeful for a confirmation of one of the most qualified judges that I've had the opportunity to get to know on a personal basis, and so we're excited about that confirmation that hopefully will happen on the Senate floor this afternoon. And if that happens, then we expect for a swearing in to happen later this evening if all goes well, and I think the American people will be well served with an independent mind from a very well qualified individual that is a great testimony to those that stay engaged and love and admire the rule of law.
Mr.
Yeah.
Meadows,
Yeah.
what impact do you think the confirmation vote will have on the election, Senate races as well as the presidential race?
You know, listen, that's an independent body. I think whenever anybody looks to go to the voting booth, they look for those senators that will confirm judges that largely would uphold the rule of law, and that obviously breaks down sometimes along partisan lines. Sadly, it shouldn't. We should just look at the qualifications, but in this particular case, I think there's no denying, based on the hearing that we've had, that Judge Barrett is a well-qualified candidate and deserves confirmation.
Mr. Meadows,
Yeah.
can I get you to respond to Vice President Biden? You released a statement after your comments yesterday morning. You said we're not going to control the virus. He released a statement saying that this underscores the broader strategy that the White House has waved the white flag.
Well, the only person waving a white flag along with his white mask is Joe Biden. I mean, when we look at this, we're going to defeat the virus. We're not going to control it. We will try to contain it as best we can. And if you look at full context of what I was talking about, is we need to make sure that we have therapeutics and vaccines. We need to make sure that when people get sick, that they have the kind of therapies that the President of the United States has, that we can provide. Those emergency use authorizations hopefully will be coming in very short order. We're hopeful, very hopeful, based on a number of conversations, that vaccines are just a few weeks away, and we're in preparation for that. And yet at the same time, a national lockdown strategy or a national quarantine strategy that is proposed by the left is not effective, is not what will ultimately contain or control this virus. So any suggestion that we're waving the red flag, the white flag, is certainly not in keeping with this president. You know him, he doesn't give up, and he's not going to give up until all Americans are safe and we've defeated this virus. Yeah, go ahead, and then I'll come back.
Any concerns you see Vice President Biden's going to be in Georgia tomorrow? He's trying to play in what is a traditional Republican stronghold. What do you make of that?
Well, since both of my children live in the Georgia, Atlanta metropolitan area, I can tell him that it'll be an uphill battle for Joe Biden. We're going to win the state of Georgia. We're going to win my home state of North Carolina. We're going to win Florida. And where Joe Biden is all of a sudden starting to come out and campaign, there should be panic for him, because I can tell you right now, we're crisscrossing all over this country. We're asking the American people for their vote. We're doing the very best we can to make a compelling case that there's one candidate in this race that will put America first, and that's the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Yeah. Obviously, anytime there's an outbreak with the coronavirus, we are concerned, but not just with White House officials. I think the real key with this is all Americans need to do what they can to make sure that the risks are mitigated, and whether that's social distancing like we're doing now, or wearing a mask where appropriate when you can't do that. But the other fact is that as we look at this, it is a critical time in our country where there are moms right now that are tuned in right now saying, well, what am I going to do with my kids? When are they going to get to go back to school? There are business people who are saying, well, I'm closed down. How am I going to deal with this? And there's only been one person that's been willing to address that in a meaningful way, and that's the President of the United States. We're going to continue to do that, and yet at the same time, try to mitigate the risk that come along with this China virus that came to us through no fault of our own, and certainly no fault to the American people.
And is the Vice President going up to the Senate tonight?
I don't know. I think that was in flux. I know there's been reports of that, but I'm not sure what the Vice President's plans are for the Senate tonight. Go ahead.
So, given the fact that there is an outbreak and that the last event for Judge Barrett turned into a super spreader event, is it responsible to have one tonight, and what will you do differently than the first one?
Yeah, so the very first event, while there's a whole lot of connections that have been made with who was at the event and who came down with it, we've been able to look at that and track as many as 3 different areas where the virus actually infected different people within the White House. So it didn't all come from that particular event. We're doing tonight doing the best we can to encourage as much social distancing as possible. It'll be outdoors if it goes off as planned right now, and still continue to do testing in and around those that are critical to the mission to try to get there. Again, all of these things are wonderful things that we are able to deploy, but the key is we've got to defeat this. We've got to come up with therapeutics. We've got to come up with vaccines, and we're doing that in record time. This president is doing that in record time, and yet it's still an uncertain aspect for many of us that have to deal with that each and every day. But the president has been very, very strong, pressing me, I know, on a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week basis to try to make sure that we cut through the red tape to get it done.
Speaking of a vaccine, Moderna offers early access through compassionate use.
Yeah.
Have you or anyone here taken the vaccine or been offered it?
I have not taken the vaccine. Obviously, I've probably been at risk of contracting the coronavirus more than most, just in and around my normal activities and having to stay engaged just for the nature of my job. For us, we're trying to prioritize several different groups. Those are first responders and healthcare workers that are there. Those are the most at risk. Long-term care. I know we've identified a number of people in long-term care, nursing homes, adult care facilities, trying to get that group that is most at risk in terms of mortality risk, and prioritize those. And so any vaccine that would be offered, forward. I think it would be very inappropriate for me to take it before a number of those individuals that are potentially more in harm's way than even myself. Yeah. Anything else? Thanks, guys. I just really appreciate the care and concern. So many of you've reached out, and I just wanted to let you know everything fine. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.